Right then.
Hello. Sat here in anticipation. Hopefully you can see and hear us.
Can you let us know, because the signal isn't brilliant. We're on the ship's Wi-Fi. We've got about 10 mega PSs, whatever it's called. So if you can hear us, then do let us know. So if anyone could just give us, got anyone saying there, Paulie? Just we've got a. But yes, we can't believe we're live from the. Paulie's got his phone on there because the message. We're seeing there's lots of people in the chat, which is brilliant. But we can all good, Carole and Francis. So thank you very much. But with the there's a delay in the comments coming up. So, but Paul's got his phone there. So yeah, so it looks all good.
I'm not ignoring you or watching Netflix or anything.
No.
For the first time ever, I've been put in charge of more than just sitting here talking a load of rubbish.
So we're currently on the Carnival celebration. It's been it's been a very interesting week so far. So if you've got any questions about Carnival, about the Carnival celebration, or about any cruising, then please make sure you write them in the comments and put a question before that so we can spot it. But it's so lovely to see all of you here. I want to give a special thank you because I've seen Bob's here.
And I want to give a special thank you to Bob because he's just messaged me privately and said the signal is good. So thank you, Bob.
So Bob and Holly from Innocence Broads are just lovely. And they're our very good friends now, aren't they? Because we've met them a few times. And Bob highlighted to me about the time difference. And we're terrible with time, aren't we, Paulie? So concentrate on this now because it's fine. So
she gives me a job to do. I start doing that job. I immediately get told off.
But the first thing is the ship time's different from the land time, and then it was all very confusing. But Bob messaged us earlier and said, "Look, this is happening." So thank you, Bob. We'll be forever grateful as always. So there's lots of lovely people in here as well. Good evening. Lovely to see Ken, who did his first live. If you're not following Ken Goes Cruising, they're doing some lives now, and that went well, so that's good. So let's just say hi to a few people here. So Andy and Carla here saying from a very cold and snowy Lancashire, hope you're having a good time on the celebration. We are having a really good time, aren't we, Paulie?
We are having, when we got on and we did the sail away party, I don't mind admitting, I thought, oh my God, what have we done?
Yeah.
Because it was
mental.
Absolutely bonkers. We did a fantastic sail away party on Princess when it was the Queen's Jubilee, but obviously that was a special occasion.
Yeah.
And even though it was a great sail away and it was one of our favourites, it still didn't even get anywhere near the level of bonkerness that we experienced. And what amazed me is you immediately get caught up in it all.
Yeah.
So we went a deck up from the pool to sort of be out of it, and there was a lot of older people up there, more our age, but then they're all singing and dancing, and it's like infectious. It rubs off on you, doesn't it? And then all of a sudden you're just as bonkers as everybody else.
There's a whole age range on the ship. There's families, there's with young children, there's older people, there's all. It seems to be there's no
it's right
generational things, but there's lots of families traveling with multi-generations, aren't there? So, and the families and the kids are having a blast. So our first impressions was, oh my God, is this going to be too much for us? They have there's a cruise director on here called Chris Williams, and he is probably one of the best cruise directors we've seen for a long time, in that he's involved in everything. And last night he put a show in centre stage, and he's got an awesome voice too. But they call themselves the Fun Squad. And you know what? They're everywhere, aren't they?
Yes, indeed.
And I think because we're cruising out of America, there's a lot of obviously Americans on board, and they are just up for such a good time. And being British and being that little bit more reserved, it's been, but actually we've had a great time, haven't we, overall? So yeah, that's fine. So let's see what questions we've got. Oh, Dan's here. Hi, Dan. I want to give a shout out to Dan because Dan's our travel agent, and he emailed us yesterday because when we get off this ship, we're going on to the New Amsterdam, which ironically was next to us yesterday, wasn't it, in San Juan? And he messaged us to say, look, your hotels in Fort Lauderdale are crazy money. So when we booked it with Dan originally, we're like, oh, that was, you pay what you pay. It's worse than London price, isn't it?
Oh, it's bonkers.
But bless Dan, he's been keeping an eye on the prices, and they've come down, and he's got us loads of money back. So we're chuffed a bit. So if you're after a good travel agent, Dan's your man. Isn't he, Paulie?
Oh, most definitely. But I
Yeah.
will say, Dan, you do owe us $80 because we've had to buy a new suitcase. And the reason that we had to buy a new suitcase is because our other suitcase, we bought two, and one of them has worn out.
Yes.
And the reason it's worn out is from use from all the cruises that you and Carole book behind my back. So I'll take cash, I don't mind. Or
I don't know if you've seen our social media posts. We will just pulling the suitcase out of the Holiday Inn in Miami just to get on the ship, and we all just ripped a hole in the bottom of the case, didn't it? But thankfully we were in San Juan, and the guest relations on here have been fantastic, and they told us, don't worry, in San Juan you'll find a Marshall's, which we'd never heard of, but apparently it's like it reminds us a bit of a B&M.
Well, it'd be interesting, really? Obviously there's a few Americans in the chat. Is Marshall's like a big thing in America? Because when we were walking back,
so what?
We got stopped by two different lots of people.
Yes.
One of which said, "Oh, have you been to Marshall's?" And we're like, "Well, yeah, we have been to Marshall's. Why?" Cheers. Oh, well, I knew there was one somewhere, but I couldn't find it. And then another guy stopped us because obviously we're the only people heading towards the cruise ship
with a suitcase and a lilac one.
Yeah, really manly lilac one. And this guy asked us, he said, "Oh, did you buy that here?" And we said, "Yeah, we bought it at Marshall's." "Oh, great," he said. Yeah. So it obviously meant far more to the two lots of Americans we spoke to.
We've not heard of it.
We didn't have a clue. But I would sort of describe it as a sort of a B&M, Wilkinson-y type thing that we would get in Britain. But it certainly did the job. And all the Americans we spoke to when we were queuing up after, they were like, "Oh, have you just bought that case?" "Yeah." "And how much was that?" Because it had the retail price was $260. Yeah. Marshall's price $79.99.
Yeah,
and then all the Americans we spoke to, 79.
I put 89 on.
Oh, it might be. It was $90 anyway. Say $90. But everybody we spoke to,
we were happy with.
We had a good deal.
And it's called a mate called Lucas, and we're like, oh my god, because that's Paul's son's name. Son's name, yeah. So we thought we have to buy that one. Anyway, let's have a look for some questions. So let's see. There's so many people here. Let's have a look. We've got Ken goes cruising. Is asked, what time does the ship go to sleep? Do you know?
A lot later than us.
Yeah. We've been up probably till about 12:30, the latest, only because we've been doing so much in the day. Because there's so much to do in the ship, isn't there? And this ship is the same layout or the same class of ship as Iona, which we were on only a few weeks ago. It's called the Excellence class, I believe, but correct me if I'm wrong. But it's a totally different beast. And you know what? We think the utilization of space on this ship is much better than Iona.
What they've done in the Atrium, and Carole kept having to sort of say, well, if you picture this and picture that and picture something else, but in the Atrium on Iona, it's a lovely space, it really is. But it's a sort of a sitting and doing nothing space. And what they've managed to do, now and again, they'll have a singer in the Atrium, won't they?
Yeah.
But what they've managed to do on here is where the windows are. So where you're looking at the one side of the Atrium, and it's all windows and it's great, what they've done is they've got this massive, like, electric blind system that they lift up in the day, so you get to look out at the windows. And then at night, they come down, and that's like a massive LED screen. And they use it in the shows, and because it's over 3 stories, you can get so many people in there. The theatre on here is nowhere near as impressive as Iona. But we were told that the American audience aren't so keen on going to theatre shows. And what they've done with the Atrium on here is they've turned it into like a real swanky sort of theatre that we saw an absolutely spectacular show a couple of nights
called Celestial Strings,
which was amazing.
Yeah, fantastic.
And it was very reminiscent of like a Celebrity Beyond show, because on the lower level where we were sat, the people in the entertainment team are actually passing around you while they're singing and dancing, and we actually got told that if you're going to sit there, man, you've got to keep your feet still, and you can't, relax and put your legs out and all this, because there will be constantly. And they weren't lying. I mean, at one point I nearly had one of the ladies sat on my lap, but and the show was fantastic. And then last night, Chris did a show, the cruise director, and he's a great singer.
Yeah, brilliant.
Real funny guy as well. And he put on a great show, which was sort of just like a one-man variety show. But the entertainment, it's not all about bonkers jumping up and down by the pool. We've seen some very good shows.
Comedy club.
There's a comedy club. We've seen the same guy 2 nights running.
Percy Cruise too, and he's had us in hysterics.
So good. Individual singers, groups, they've got
everything
just to keep it American. They've got all bases covered.
But what's also very good is, even though there's the big entertainment venues which get very busy, there are pockets of little bars like Latitudes and Fahrenheit where you feel you're on a ship that's got 6,000. We know there's 6,036 passengers on board, but you don't feel, you could go there and you're just sat with 20 people. And that's what I love, because you can do a bit of bonker stuff, but you can still find that, can't you? So that's good. So Heather's asking, hi there, Heather. Have you noticed any issues with cleanliness in your cabin or on the ship in general, or any issues with short style? No.
There are, the only time that I got very, very slightly frustrated was the first day we got on the ship, and everybody goes to the pool deck because obviously they've got the weather for it. And they were so inundated with people at the pool bar, it was a tad slow.
Yeah.
But that aside, there's staff everywhere.
Yeah.
And you talk about cleanliness. Our cabin steward is as good as any we've ever had. He's really, really friendly. So they do a turn down service, and they also do, which Carole's going to show you now. Show them, honey. Oh yes, tail animals.
Look, today, as you can see, we've got a. Where is it? They've got a bear with big shoulders. Well, I've got this up. I'll show you our balcony as well. We're right at the aft of the ship. We're going to do a post. I don't know if you can see. We're in St. Martin today, and obviously we're docked facing inwards. But our cabin steward, Murta, has been an absolute delight, hasn't he? With our suitcase, he's just taken it away, dealt with it. Our cabin is spotless, and around the ship, I haven't noticed anything. The only thing I would say is people on the ship like to eat. And they like to eat a lot, don't they? And sometimes if you go to like Guy's Burgers and the buffet, they're trying to keep on top of getting the trays away. And they are doing it, but it takes a couple of minutes. But that's the only thing that I would pick up on and say, oh, that's but it's not slow.
No, not at all, no.
But they're just so up against it.
There's a lot of people on there who like
food.
A lot of food.
And yeah, let's just see. So lots of lovely comments here. Nora saying, love you guys. Oh, thank you, Nora. That's great to hear.
Ian Venner, the two.
Ian's here. Oh, we met Ian on.
The two Britons. Do you know, my nails have never been. I've never had my nails done since Ian.
Oh, thanks for joining us, Ian. That's brilliant. We met Ian on Morella Electric Sunsets, which was great fun. It's a party cruise, isn't it? Over 3 days.
The greatest Slash impersonator of Guns N' Roses ever.
Yes, it was so much fun.
And not too bad at putting nail
varnish on either. Oh dear. Yes, everyone's saying how cold it is at home. And we see photos of snow and all sorts. So
and do you know what I say to that?
Yes, and Ian.
We're in the Caribbean.
Ian and Andrea here. So it's lovely to see you guys. If you ever see the Magic of Ian Short on a cruise ship, you've got to go and see him.
Yes.
Because he gave us a private show in our cabin, cabin on Iona, and it's just blew us away. So and nice to see you here, guys.
If we ever get home again, we're going to put a little thing together, and we're going to put that out for you to have a look.
Yeah, well, after our Azamara series finishes, we've got our next. We reached Australia, so you've got to catch our episode out tomorrow.
There's about 48 episodes of Azamara left, so that's going to take us up till I think it's 8 years till I can get my pension.
But then we're going to be doing the Iona videos. But anyway. Nora's asking, we'll be doing any group cruises soon. We haven't got anything planned, but it is something that's in the back of our mind because we get asked that a lot. So we're going to seriously think about it in the future. So, and Heather says, sounds like Royal Caribbean. We've got Wonder of Seas partner extras today. And oh my God, that's huge.
I'll tell you something. When you're all the cruising we've done, if you get another cruise ship come in, it's like, oh my God, it's really exciting. So we start off in Miami. We must have seen 8 or 10 cruise ships over the space of 2 or 3 days. We're docked yesterday. We got Oasis of the Seas next to us and
New Amsterdam.
And then today, Carole said, "Oh, it looks like Oasis of the Seas has followed us here." And then, of course, when it came into proper view, it was actually Wonder of the Seas, which there must be somebody in here who knows, because we got a lot of knowledgeable people who follow us. And
it's
that's
the
great.
biggest cruise ship in the world at this time.
Is it the biggest cruise ship in the world?
I'm sure it is. But I got Paulie up at 6 this morning because we wanted to get in St. Martin. You're going the wrong way again. Anyway, so yes, so everything from baby instros to folks in their 90s. Exactly that. It's a real good mix. Antonia's asking, how does the quality compare with other cruise lines? The food we've had has been good. It hasn't blown us away. We went to the only specialty restaurant we've done so far was the Bonsai Teppanyaki, which was brilliant. But last night we went for the first time to the MDR, and the food was good. I wasn't saying it was brilliant, but it was. We couldn't fault it.
No, we've had 2 meals in the main dining room. We had our dinner last night, and the service was excellent. Absolutely spot on, as good as we've had anywhere. And what we loved about it came across. That was one of our complaints about Iona. The service, there wasn't anything wrong with the service, but there was no like, "Oh, my name's Jim and I'll be looking after you today. This is Bert," and blah 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 blah. There was none of that on Iona, but it was all very proficient, but not with a smile on their face. The 2 meals we have had, guy come across, and to be fair, he was an older fellow, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Who was in charge of us last night.
George.
But he come across, "Oh, I'm George. This is
I wrote it down.
This is Bert, this is Harry," whatever their names was. Looked after us fantastically. Wow, couldn't fault it. And and the food was good. And then this morning we went for breakfast because Carole had me up at 2 o'clock in the morning, I think it felt like. So we had plenty of time for breakfast, and we had our first breakfast in the main dining room.
Superb.
Which was great. And again, the service
They had
great.
homemade granola, and it was just divine. And I had avocado with poached eggs on, and they were perfect. It just cut into them and boom.
But what I will say, the buffet does not. Most of the cruises we go on, we usually migrate to the buffet because we find that if it's busy, you want to get out to see a show, get here, get there, get you something else. You can go in the buffet, and it takes at least half the time, if not less than that. And the buffet food's been great. Azamara, spectacular, the buffet food. Cunard, spectacular, the buffet food. The buffet food on here is awful. And the choices, it'd be weird, like it'd be battered fish. We're thinking, oh, here we go then. What we got to go with that then? Vegetable fried rice. Okay, so there's no chips then? No, but we have got some red skin mashed potato. And it's like, no, mate, you don't get it, do you?
Well,
it's like saying, like, can I have a gin and Coke, please? Yeah, it's like it's gin and tonic.
But I guess maybe that's normal for the American audience. For us, it's a little bit strange.
I'm sorry, but you've got to draw the line somewhere. You've got to have fish and chips.
But the buffet hasn't worked for us, but Shaq's chicken has worked for Paulie.
Well, you say Shaq's chicken worked for me.
Not from the breakfast.
When we went for breakfast at the buffet.
Lots of people asking about the food.
And I have to say, the buffet hasn't lit our fire at all. Not for breakfast, not for lunch, not for dinner. But we went there for our first breakfast, and it was just so... They had an omelette station, but the queues were so long, I think breakfast would have been over. So you had to have what was on offer, and it just didn't look very appetizing at all. So I thought, well, I get the planner out. Oh, Shaq's Big Chicken's open for breakfast. Ooh. So I go there. Oh, we do America's over. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Biscuits. It looks like a scone. In these biscuits, the one option was a breakfast biscuit, and it was bacon, egg, and cheese. The egg, and I watched the bloke cut it. He had like a tray. Sorry, I'm trying to get my hands in there. He had a tray. And I thought, what's on that tray? It looked like a rubber mat. It looked like a yellow rubber mat. And he cut a square out of this rubber mat, and that was the egg.
Yeah.
And then he put that on there with some bacon, with some cheese, and then these biscuits each side of it. To say it was awful would be the understatement of the century, but I sort of preempted the fact it was going to be awful because of how bad it looked. And I said, would you do any other breakfast? I said, oh, yeah, you can have some chicken. So I said, well, I'll have some chicken then. But this chicken also came in a biscuit, and there was a pot, and this isn't a complaint, by the way. There was a pot, and it was this honey glaze, and they don't like put a bit of basting on it with a brush. They get the chicken and they drop it in this vat of honey glaze, and then they put it between the chicken, between the biscuit. So what I immediately did was, after the first breakfast thing, which was awful, I took the biscuit off, and so I basically had some honey glazed chicken and fries for my breakfast.
And the other thing I was just thinking of with food, Guy's Burgers, the queue there is crazy. And we've been on here, we're halfway through our cruise now, and we haven't been able to get near it. However, yesterday when we got back on San Juan, we went there and it was fairly quiet, and we had our first Guy's Burger, and oh my God, it was really good.
Yes, it was. Yeah, no, it
that
was fantastic.
Very good.
That was well worth the queue. And you can, and fair play to them. They are like diffed off getting people through there. But the burger, I had a burger, and what they did is, it was a burger, it was a cheeseburger.
Paul was so excited.
I know, yes, anybody out there likes burgers is going to love this. So I said, I want an inferno-y thing, because you've got a list of stuff you can have. So it was a cheeseburger, and then they put this massive onion ring, which created like a well, like a moat. And then they filled that moat with chili.
Yeah.
And then bun on top.
And
it
cheese.
It was off the chain.
It was good.
Oh, I might go and get one now. Anyway.
So Bob's confirming Wonder of the Sea's been the largest cruise ship. She's massive, 237,000 tons. Wow. This is Oasis Plus class. So we're parked next to the and with the celebrity reflections in as well. We didn't see it to start with, did we?
Because it was hidden behind.
But then we could just come back. We'd just been on the beach in St. Martin watching the planes come in. There was only one big one, really, wasn't there? Which is why, if you can see, we're still covered in sand because we haven't had time to have a shower yet. But anyway, let's go back to the questions. So let's have a look. Where was we?
Come on,
I know. I'm going back up just to see. So Ian's just saying about that. So looking for Claire and Iceland, 11. Looking forward to hearing all about the celebration. Brilliant. Do you know, this is our first Carnival cruise. I just seen someone asking, do you need a cabin? Let's just see where that is, a balcony cabin. Carnival is a party ship. Yes, Tom and Don travel. But you can find your oases quiet. But can I just say that I'm glad that we booked a balcony cabin, because it is really nice to come back in and have our views and the quiet times.
If we didn't have a balcony cabin, we wouldn't be talking to you now, because we've had to open our balcony door to let the Wi-Fi in.
Yes,
and this is a trick we learned off Emma Cruises.
Yes.
It was far too busy because she's away on Fred Olsen at the minute. But the Wi-Fi speed nearly doubled by opening our balcony door. So there's a free tip for you. I'm going to claim it as my own because Emma's not listening, so she can't contact me.
Let me have a look. Let's see.
There's also about Marshalls there as well.
Marshalls everywhere. See, we didn't know that, but that's good to know. So we'll know that in the future.
Heather Travels has put something about Marshalls as well, if you go down a bit.
Marshalls is a huge thing. It varies by region in the US. Yeah, but it is. And Norris is the same. So yeah. So thank God for Marshalls. Now we've got a case.
And you know, I wasn't even allowed to wheel it back from the store because
he was dragging it over
because the
cobbles.
pavements were uneven, and cars like, lift the suitcase out, don't you break them wheels?
I didn't say that, because on the flat pavements I said it's fine now, but don't drag it along.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did say that.
So Michelle's asking, have you ever sailed Carnival or also have you ever sailed from the US? No. To both, really, isn't it? Because when we did the Caribbean the last time, which was 2018, I believe, we actually cruised out of Cuba. And we're glad we hadn't done that again since, because to get an ESTA for someone from the UK to get into America, if we'd been to Cuba since 2020,
I think it's in the last 2 years.
We would have had to.
You've got to go and have like an interview and stuff. But
so
as long as you haven't,
So if you're planning to come from the US, then obviously I take that into consideration. And Cheryl's asking, will this be your first holiday in America? Yes. So this trip is all about first time we were in Miami. If you were watching our social media, we had such a good time in Miami. It's very expensive. If you're coming from the UK and you're not used to American, well, I don't know, is Miami more expensive than other cities in I don't know, is it more expensive than San Diego, Bob? I don't know. But for us, we were like, oh my God, this is London prices plus.
Mate, we want to go to London when we get home
because it's quite
just
cheap
to feel normal again.
But we loved Miami. We were staying in the Holiday Inn, which was a great choice. It was a very dated hotel. And when we first walked in, we thought, oh, that's a bit odd. But then when we discussed it with Dan, it was all about the location, and it was right by Bayside, which was a brilliant location. And we spent some time there, and we got around on the hop on hop off bus, which was fab, wasn't it?
Well, to put it in perspective, we've been to that. What's the beach called today?
Miami Beach. Oh no, not today. Mahou Beach. M-A-H-O.
Where the planes fly over and blow you into the sea. Now that couldn't be more touristy if you tried. It was absolutely bonkers there. Thousands of people on the beach.
Yeah.
I went to the bar, and in shock horror, Carole said, "Oh, get me a bottle of Corona, but with some lime in it." Now we go through this phase about once every 4 or 5 years, and she'll drink about 3/4 of it and say no. But went to the bar, 2 bottles of Corona in the most touristy of touristy places, and it was $8. Well, if that had been in Miami, that would have been easily double that.
Yeah. Do you have sales? Did you try Guy's Burger? Yeah, Paul just explained all of it. Is awesome. Yeah, very good. But queues for it for any fast food on the ship. There's queues like a mile long, and everyone's walking around with pizzas or burgers.
Pizza's great on here.
The pizza's good. Oh. Yeah, they got Miami
every
slice.
Night. Miami. Oh well, and this is the irony, right? Carole didn't even get the pun that it's called Miami slice. You didn't even get the pun.
I did when you explained it.
Precisely, you didn't get it. But when we go out at night, Carole look at me and say, "I'm telling you now, mate, we're not going for pizza at whatever time." And 2 out of the 4 nights, we've gone there, and the pizza's so good.
It's hot. It's 88 degrees today, and it's lovely. And I'm not moaning at all, because we got the daughter out, the aircon's off, so excuse me wiping my sweaty brow.
So the sacrifices we're making for you people.
I know. Chris is asking, do you have a favourite Norwegian port? If so, by the way, good to see you having a great time. Thanks, Chrissy. For me, it's Olden and Sholden.
For me, I can't remember the names of any of them. So I'll have to say to Carole which one is. I like the one where we did the Noddy train.
Olden.
So there you go. Then.
Yeah.
And I also like the one where we went with Bob and Holly, where we had the reindeer burger. Bergen. Yeah. So that's nice. And I also like the one where the captain let me drive the ship.
That was on the Morella Discovery. Yeah, we were invited up onto the bridge. This was quite a few years ago when we were on Morella Discovery doing our Northern Lights cruise, and we got to know the cruise director really well, and they invited us up to the bridge, and we were actually cruising at Stavanger, past the Seven Sisters waterfall. That's made me go goosey, because that was such a special moment, because your dad and sister were with us. And the funny thing is that it was Hugh, wasn't it? The captain said, "Does anyone want to press the horn?" So Paul was like, me. And I then didn't have a GoPro. I had a cheapy action camera. And
she had a cheapy Chinese action camera, which I'm blaming my brother. It was very good, but it wouldn't record sound. It was just, we were just starting out doing a bit of blogging, so we thought, well, we can just put a voiceover on that.
Yeah.
So, does anybody want to blow the? Because as we were coming out of Stavanger, there was a ferry coming towards us, and the captain said, "Oh, because all there is the crew." We thought when we got invited out, there's going to be like 100 people out there. All there was the crew. Me and Carole and my dad and my sister. And it was just amazing. And then he said, he looked across at me. He said, because we're the bigger vessel, it's our job. We have to blow the horn 3 times because we're the bigger vessel to let them know we're here. I don't suppose there's anybody here who'd like to blow that horn. So obviously I was like a child in a sweet shop. So I go across, and it's like, one of the best days of my life blowing the horn on this ship. Carole's videoing it, and of course, after she videoed it, she said, I should have done that on my phone, really. And I said, why? She said, well, because this doesn't record sound.
Well,
she said, I can put the noise of the horn on. I said, no, you can't. That just won't be the same, will it?
And that's when we invested in a GoPro.
Yes, after that, we went without food for a month and bought a GoPro.
Exactly. Tom and Dom are asking about the drinks package. Now, we've got the Cheers drinks package, which was not cheap, and we've been looking at the moment our first day, yes, we got our money's worth. The last couple of days, we're not sure, and the reason we hesitate telling you that is because our bill on our TV isn't right. So we'll go into reception when we've done this to get a printout so we can actually do the math, and we will be letting you know because Paul's going to put a whole drinks
Did
package
you really
post.
say do the math? So we're on an American ship for 4 days.
Math.
Do the
Yes,
math.
sir.
Carol's fielding that question first. Now I'm going to field it. Basically, if you open a door, you get charged tax. If you tie your shoelaces, you get charged tax. So when we bought the drinks package,
that wasn't tax, that was gratuity.
No, but we asked various people, friends in America, people we know work for Carnival, this, that, the other. Nobody could help us out with a promo code for the drinks package. So we thought, right, we're going to have to bite the bullet. It's $400 a person. So it's just shy of $60 a day. Yeah, which is a lot. So we go on there, purchase, and then the price come up, $960. And I thought, well, I know I'm from the Forest of Dean, but 400 and 400 doesn't come to $960. But you get the pleasure of $162 gratuity. So it's like, oh, okay. So obviously I'm, a grumpy Paulie Morgan. So we purchase it. So we get on, we're having a few drinks, a couple of days in, better check the old account, see what's going on, even though we haven't purchased anything at all. There's a load of money on there. So we go to reception. Oh, yeah, that's the tax. It just looks at me, yeah, that's the tax. Like it's perfectly acceptable. What tax is that then, mate? Well, the tax on the drinks. I said, so you're telling me then that I've paid $1,000 as near as for a drinks package, and there's tax on top of it as well? Yeah, that's right, man. Yeah, tax on top of it.
Smiling.
Yeah, he wasn't smiling. One of them words. You really wanted to grab him around the neck, but he was so smiley and lovely. He's like, yeah, tax on top. Yeah, that's the tax, that is. But yeah, you get some tax on that.
But there's no rhyme or reason to the tax because yesterday we didn't have any tax at all.
Yeah, but then at the end of the day, we had tax again.
Yeah,
and
I don't get it. So if anyone can explain how tax works on a Carnival cruise ship, then please do, because
I never believe them when they say, so we did a specialty restaurant. How much is that? Oh, she said
$35 each.
Because it's lunch, it's $35. So 35 and 35 is 82. Yeah, it's like, no, it's not. Right. That's not right. 8.35. That's 70. Oh yeah. No, there's tax. There's gratuities. There's this. There's that. There's your never tax. It's
I guess because we've cruised on cruise lines that have everything all included, and we're not used to the tax.
But what annoys me, right, is if it's $82 for two of us, and we say to you, how much is this then, mate? Why don't they say it's $82?
Yeah.
Why do they say it's $70? If they said it was $82, I wouldn't even quibbled. But
so anyway, Tom Don, answering you, as you can see, we haven't
not
made
a bone of contention at all.
We haven't made a conclusion yet, but Paul will be putting together when we get home, like we've done with all our drinks. Our website's full of drinks prices for P&O, for all sorts. So Paul will be putting a post together. Anyway, let's move on because time's ticking. We're halfway in, and I want to just say the Cruising Canucks are here. So we've tipped off our security to watch out for a couple of Carnival party cruisers from Gloucester.
I don't know what you mean.
We were messing them last night. So we're like, oh my God, the ships. We're cruising with them Sunday on New Amsterdam. And we can actually, because we were so much taller than, we were looking in and trying to spot our cabin and their cabin. And it was
it's the first time Carole's been so much taller than anybody.
Exactly. And Janet's asking, do you find a cruising duck? No, we were sat at Latitude Bar, and which is a lovely bar, one of our favourite spots on the ship. And they've got a singer called Reggie, who's just this tiny little Asian lady who sings with a tiny little guitar, but she's got the most beautiful voice. And we were sat there having a couple of drinks the other night, and they do bar service as well as you go into the bar. And this lovely waitress came up and said, "Oh, how you doing? I said, "No, we're fine, thank you." She looked, oh. And I was like, what? She said, "Look behind you." And I was like, what? And right in this little alcove was a duck. And she said, "Oh, thank you very much. I'll have that." And I was like,
off she walked.
Off she walked. And I was like, oh, we were sat right next to a duck and we didn't even spot it.
I didn't even know I was supposed to be looking for him.
No, I know. Oh, dear. So Sue's asking, think of doing the Northern Lights on Queen Anne next year. Have you done the Northern Lights yet? And if it was amazing.
Yes, it was. Going back to, that's when we got in. No, it wasn't.
It was.
Was that? Yeah. That's when we got invited up onto the bridge for sailing away from Stavanger. But the Northern Lights, we do really enjoy Morella, but we haven't done Morella properly for probably 4 years. Well, I know we did the electric.
We are on them with them in June.
Yeah, we are going on them this year.
Yeah.
We haven't done them properly for 3 or 4 years. So it'd be interesting to see what our take is, because the electric sunsets is a fab 2 or 3 nights. But you can't judge any cruise line by a cruise like that, because it's proper party. But what I will say is that cruise is still one of my favourites because of the itinerary.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
And we had we had 4 nights, 1 mile, but 3 full nights of Northern Lights. It was amazing.
We were sick of the Northern Lights.
No, we weren't.
Oh, just Northern Lights right there. We didn't even. If they were out the window, we wouldn't even turn around to them.
So, Sue, I'd say yes, because we're doing Queen Anne next year. Yeah, it's next year, isn't it? Next May. And if you're doing Northern Lights, that would be a great combination. Dick's asking, who does Paul's hair?
Well, let me tell you, I get this. I get this guy comes in. No, it's just that's mainly sun cream in my hair at the minute. Look, I can do anything.
Sun cream and sand.
Sun cream and
but
sand.
You
I
go
can do
to
a weekend. Look at that. You know, I can do it. I can go rhino horn.
Yeah, you can. So, go to the side again. Brilliant. But yeah, but at home you go to a lovely Turkish barber, don't you? Not far from our house. So let's see what questions we've got. So
I don't think anybody's ever said my hair is fabulous.
No, I know. Yes, it is in comparison. Well, Royal Caribbean was much the same for us, wasn't it?
Yes. What I will say now, when we did Anthem when Carole retired, which is coming up to 2 years now, and we did the drinks package, but it was all Europe. So when we paid what we paid, there was no gratuities on top. That was about $60 a day, but there was no gratuities on top at all, and we never got charged any tax. But it was a European cruise, so yeah, I guess that Carnival is the most expensive we've experienced so far.
Yeah. Cruiser Gaze is saying, hi there. It's just satisfying to go through your homework. The trousers should be taken off. Yeah, we're going to be going to reception. And to be fair, they've been lovely. So we don't worry about going there like we did on Azamara.
I've cancelled my credit card anyway.
No, you haven't. So, Sel Gallimont, yes, we have. And it's brilliant. Really good comedians on the ship, isn't there? So, yes. And we'll be going back before we get off. Yeah, Tony's saying that you would be subject to an 80% gratuity. Yes, so that's why we need to get home and work out the maths, don't we, to make sure it's
what they do on Cunard is $69 a day for your drinks package, regardless of where you're cruising from, and that's it. But if you don't have the drinks package, every drink you have, you get charged a gratuity. But if you have the drinks package, you don't get charged a gratuity, or the gratuity is already included. So obviously Carnival's found a way of there's no escaping the gratuity.
Garth's asking, have you used your man bag to help carry the stuff? Yes, he did when we travelled over, when we flew over, and it worked actually very well.
I don't even want to talk about this man bag, because when we got to one place and I had my man bag, and then Carole said, well, the thing is, though, you need a smaller bag than that, really. And I thought, they're just like, she'd been trying to get me to buy a man bag for 30 years. I buy a man bag.
It's like a woman needs more than one handbag, because you have ones for travelling that are a bit more spacious. So you need a man bag that's bigger for travelling, so you're carrying all the stuff when we travel. But when we go in a day, all you need to carry is Insta360, which, if you've been seeing our social media, you're really getting to grips with. We've got hopefully got some fantastic footage from this cruise. Anyway. Addicted to Ships said, be following events on Facebook and Book Celebration. Oh, fab. Yeah, every day we're putting a post. We're always a day behind because obviously we want to explain what happened. So do follow us on Facebook. Just look for Paul and Carole Love to Travel on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Haven't done so much on Twitter at the moment, but we will pay catch up with that.
Bob answering the expensive Miami question there.
No, ma'am. I love the Bob's accent. Miami, not
honestly, when Bob's on social media, he's so polite. You want to meet him in real life, I'll tell you something.
He's still very polite.
Yeah, he is, actually. He's one of the most politest men I've ever met.
Exactly. And yes, we're looking forward to when we get off the ship in Miami, we're going to get an Uber or a taxi straight to Fort Lauderdale to get on. Morris is saying, that it's a very mixed bag. I don't think Carnival would suit us. No, well, probably not. It is a mixed bag. I think when you come on Carnival, you've got to be prepared for the noise. And I don't mean it's a horrible noise. I think this cruise, and Paul and I both said, we've never heard so many families laughing.
There is
the volume around the ship is high, but it's not a horrible noise. It's
No.
not an intrusive noise. It's a pleasurable noise.
sorry, there's just a plane.
There
going
is a
past.
plane, yeah.
There's the majority of people on here certainly have no inhibitions, and it's definitely it's a bit like watching an episode of the Jerry Springer show, isn't it, with everybody whooping and stuff.
Yes, yeah. And yes, it's a great ship for people watching,
Yeah.
that's for sure. Kevin's saying he's from New York and he finds Miami expensive. Well, that's good to know because we're in New York in July. So
August.
Sharon's saying you're covered in sand from a wide body. Oh, Carole, you're wild. Well, it was a bit wild on Moho Beach. I don't know if you've ever been there. I'm glad we went there to see how close it was to the airfield. But it's not the nicest beach. It's full of seaweed, isn't it?
Yes, the amount of seaweed was quite spectacular, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, they were
I'm
sort
glad
of
we've
raking
seen
it
it.
at the beach, and there was like piles about 5 foot high.
And also biscuits with gravy. Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it? Rob's here. So evening, guys. Hope you both have a fab time. We are having a fun time, actually. Yesterday, I felt the heat got to me a bit. I'm going through that funny age thing. And with the heat in San Juan and walking around trying to find a suitcase, I had a bit of a meltdown, didn't I, really?
You did, but when when you're pushing 70, it's going to happen, isn't it, really?
Dawn's asking, is your cabin noisy? Not at all.
It's noisy at the moment because we've got the cabin door open to let the Wi-Fi in, which is
Yeah,
I was panicking a bit.
I know because the Wi-Fi went down.
It dropped right down to 1 bar,
Yeah,
and now
we've got an eye back, so we're good.
So, but no, it's not noisy at all.
You hear the noise of the wake, and because we're looking down on the tide bar, you hear some noise. You see people talking
Not with the
a little
cabin,
bit.
Not with the door.
Oh, with the
shut,
door shut, you don't
Oh.
hear anything. And we're cruising around the Caribbean, which is why we chose an aft, and we felt a tiny bit of movement, but very little, and hardly any vibration at all.
No, not at all.
So let's see. What's our favourite restaurant and bar on Iona? Susan's asking.
My favourite restaurant would probably be the what's it called?
Keel and Cow.
Keel and Cow.
Mm.
Love the Keel and Cow because they do fantastic food, from steaks to pies to all sorts in between, and you only pay for what you have.
Yeah.
Favourite bar
On Iona.
I used to really like the pub, to be fair, Brody's, because they used to do some great quizzes, but I was really, really disappointed last time because they just seemed to be doing like these group quizzes where it was almost like they wanted to save on paper. So it was like split the room down the middle and shout out stuff. So like a bit.
Yeah, we were a bit disappointed with Brody's, weren't we? Kenga True said, Lindsay said to try grits. I did. Oh my
Carole
God.
said it was like semolina.
It was like bitty semolina. It wasn't good. I only had a tablespoon. I couldn't. But yeah, the egg looked really awful. Yeah, it was a slab of egg, wasn't it?
Oh, it's just
So let's have a look. So if you've got a question. So Tina's asking, hi there, Tina, lovely to see you here. Tournament crew, give the name. Do you think it's to do with tips? Possibly. P&O include tips, so the crews don't really bother to give names. Yeah, it's a good point. But even if I was working on P&O, I'd still be more personable because you'd get more tips on top.
Because you still, you can.
Because British people still do tip on top. Some, not all, mind. Yeah.
Grumpy British people, we don't tip as a rule, but we will always tip good service. Whereas I think Americans, they preempt the good service by tipping. Because even like we literally got on here, we're at the bar, and there's a row of people in front of me, and they've all got money out ready to tip the barman. And so
I think that's just the American way, isn't it?
That's the American way. So they're sort of preempting the good service, whereas we wait for the good service
and then tip,
and then we tip, which is why we never get good service, because all you Americans are getting served because you've already bloody tipped them, haven't you?
Julie saying hello from a wet Spain. Yeah, the weather is bad, isn't it, in Europe at the moment? I was wondering how you manage adapting back to living normal life when you get home. Do you know, it's we love being away, but sometimes nothing better than we get through the door with our suitcase. We always unpack straight away, and then we sit on we've only got a little house at home, and we sit on our little 2 sofa-seater two sofa seater, 2 sofa settee. And
2-seater sofa.
That's it. And then we put, God, that's a first glass of wine today, went to my head. And we put our recliners out and we watch all our, I love all Criminal Minds and Chicago PD and Chicago Fire. And so we just chill out. And at home, we very rarely drink at home now, didn't it? Because we obviously drink when we're away and we eat healthy. So
but we're away.
It's nice to have the balance.
We're away for 340 days a year, so we never drink at home. Them 12 days.
Warren's asking, I'll be looking for a Thatcher's Gold. Have you tried a Newcastle?
Newcastle Brown was my mum's favourite drink. And if you're a seasoned Newcastle Brown drinker, you have the bottle and you have a half pint glass and you pour it in a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
And years and years and years ago, my mum, God rest her soul, she went to a bar. I'll have a Newcastle Brown, please. And the bloke put a pint glass on the bar and then opened the bottle and filled the glass to the top with the Newcastle Brown. I said, well, yeah, well, you can take that away. And I'd like a bottle of Newcastle Brown, please, and a half pint glass. Well, there it is out. No, I don't think so. No. And my mum was not to be argued with.
No.
So you can,
lovely.
You can either take that away or we're going to fall out. And so he took it away and they gave her a fresh bottle. Yeah. So, yes, I haven't had a Newcastle Brown for a long time. But, yeah, not a bad drink at all. But
few people have been asking about cider. Paul's just been drinking beer, lager, actually.
What I can tell you at the moment is they definitely do Angry Orchard. Now, I only know Angry Orchard because I drank it on the Celebrity Beyond, but it was a tad too sweet for me, as I recall. But I haven't really looked into it. So I'm going to make it because this is the sort of sacrifice that I make. I'm going to go out of my way to try and drink some cider tonight.
Chris is saying, how would you think you'd manage on such beach event inside? I don't think I would. Paul probably would. I need my outside space, and as soon as I get up in the morning, I'm out getting some fresh air on the balcony. I'll sit and I'll watch sailings, and it's been an away. Oh, we're back. The signal seems to be getting a little poorer, so
we've done well though. 47.
Well, we have. So yeah. So for us, let's just see. I don't think we can get anything up, can we? Looks like you're both having. Oh yeah, so we're back. Sorry, it's buffering a little bit. Lost you completely. So are we back? Yeah. Can you let us know if you're back? Heather said you lost us completely. So do let us know if we're back. It's coming in and out, and no more comments. Have you got comments there saying we're back?
You're back.
We're back.
Tony G, you're back. Corey,
fab, thank you very much. Karen's asking, you guys so much fun to watch. Oh, thank you. So, and yes, Ian's on my side. Look, team always unpack straight away. Paul hates it, but I said, do it and it's done. Carole's here. Now, Carole is one of our patrons and she's lovely. We met on QM2. And we're on deck 12, but Carole always preempts us what ships are going to be in. She watches the ports, and she did a lovely video for us of when we arrived in Sydney.
Oh, was that the afternoon?
Yeah, so that's brilliant. So thank you, Carole. Appreciate your efforts very much. So, Sweet Natured are here. Nothing wrong with being 70, Corinne says. Hi, Corinne. Oh, Tony Phillips said all the beaches are covered in. Oh, so that's not normal then. So, okay, well, that's good to know. And cruising for one sea. Hi there. America's going to be very late in the state. We have to talk like the person's a mile away. Do you know, when we were in Holiday Inn in Miami, you could hear our room was right by the lifts. We had fantastic views over the port, but we could hear people next door. So we haven't heard anyone here, though.
No, it's been fine.
So let's have a look.
But what's been really random on here is we've seen on previous cruises the very, very few people put a bit of door decorations.
Oh,
but
yes.
I mean, we're talking 1 in 1,000. On here, there's the two things on this cruise. I'm already on a tangent. Two things on this cruise. Door decorations is just on another level. Never seen so many doors decorated. And there's even one couple that have got a list of every cruise they've been on. Now, either that's really informative or really pretentious. I'll let you decide on that, really. But every single cruise they've been on. And the other thing, the people who've got cruise T-shirts.
Yes.
I'm on a cruise with me mum. I'm doing this. No cruise. Don't blame it on me. It was the cruise.
Yes.
Thousands of people wearing T-shirts, and every one of them has made me jealous because we definitely need to get some merch.
Well, if you joined our last live, we had lots of comments saying, well, we're going to do some merchandise, which we are truly thinking about that now, aren't we?
Yeah.
But we're going to sort when we get home. Now, the other observation, have anyone tried a candy straw? Now, I love my Bloody Marys, and I've had the best one here at the Pig and... Not the Pig and Blanket. No, the Pig and Bucket. What's it called? The Pig and...
The Pig and Anchor.
The Pig and Anchor. There's
the Pig and Blanket.
There's no record. Basically, the ships, if I can quickly explain, is separated into 6 zones, and there's one at the back called the Landing, and it's got the Pig and Anchor pub there, and I had the best Bloody Mary. It had bacon and everything in it, but they don't do straws. You can buy reusable straws, which is fair enough, but the only straws that they give you is called candy straws. They're made of lime, and oh my god, and you start sucking them and it goes all slimy. It was horrible. So luckily, when we were in Amber Cove, I managed to procure a few paper straws.
She stole straws.
I was going to ask
she stole straws. We did a piece to camera yesterday about our daily blog, and she said, yeah, and I asked the waiter. She never asked anybody. She went to the bar and she blatantly stole a handful of straws.
But I smart that the waiter was doing it. And
which she's now rationed herself to 1 straw
a day. Because 1 Bloody Mary is enough a day, because it's like a whole meal. But anyway, Scott is asking... Hi there, Scotters. We'll be seeing you. We're booked. We're booked to come to...
Yes, so we've now managed to book both campsites, so hopefully we can get together for a bit of lunch.
Yes, so we'll have to let you know the dates. Is there an adult-only action that's free to go? We haven't found an adults-only, but we have found the Serenity Pool, which is adults-only. So I guess, yes, it is adults-only.
We haven't found anywhere at all where it's adults-only, apart from the adults-only Serenity Pool and the adults only comedy club.
Yes, that's true.
Other than those adults only, we haven't found any adults only areas at all.
No, the Serenity Pool is right at the front of the ship, and it is a lovely, lovely area. But even that gets very busy, full of adults.
We went there yesterday, and we come back from suitcase buying, and then Carole couldn't walk. I love her so much, it's unbelievable, but she comes out with stuff. The thing she'll do to take a photo. So we come back from buying the suitcase, we get to the ship, and she's like, oh, I can't walk another step, honey. Oh, my legs are hurting, my hip, my back, this, that, the other. I can't walk. Oh, I'm just going to walk up there and take some photos. She must have walked 500 yards away from where I was, and then obviously had to walk back again to take some photos. All right then, mate. Oh, yeah, my legs are hurting a bit. So as soon as there's a photo opportunity, things are perked up.
Well, I want to get the perfect thing of the New Amsterdam right in front of Carnival Celebration, which I did.
She went through the pain barrier to do it. So anyway, so we get on the ship and we go to the Serenity Bar. And when we got there, there was about Serenity Pool. There was about 20 people there. And I had a little snooze. And when I woke up, there was about 400 people. It was busy. And it wasn't serene at all anymore. But it must have been quite serene because I fell asleep.
Exactly. Ken's asking, are there any pineapples? Yes, there was one big sparkly one.
And it was a sparkly one. So
big.
they must be big into pineapples.
So if you know about pineapples on your door. Kate and Dave are here. So what is the plan for the rest of the day on board? Well, we're sailing away from St. Martin in about 20 minutes. We're going to go and get some food because we have only had breakfast. The tug's just... Oh, can you see the tug? Let me see if I can show you the tug. Out on the balcony. Oh, that's the wrong way. Can you see? There's a tug. So we'll be sailing away shortly. So, and we are going to... We haven't had a plan because we booked a... Where is it? Now, they have an app. What are you doing?
Oh, I'd just like to get involved, Just making sure I can see
so they've got a Carnival Hub, which has actually been very good, hasn't it, for booking things. Paul's booked on the Bolt for tomorrow. Haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Carole was
that's a
also-
roller coaster.
Carole was
for those
also
that don't
booked
know.
on the boat roller coaster.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
she chicken.
I did.
She chicken lady.
I did. It's fast and high, and I thought I'll make a fool of myself. But Paul's going to do it, so I can video him.
Because you don't tend to get them roller coasters very much that are ground level, do you?
They're called trains. Anyway, so if you're not into technology, do not fear, because you know that I love. You get a map. I'll show you the map in a minute. But you also get a to-do thing. As you can see, and you find them at reception. And tonight we've got.
But just let me tell you, they don't deliver them to your room. Whereas every
No.
cruise we've ever been on, you get them delivered, but they don't on here. You have to pick one up. It's not a chore, but you have to pick one up. But because you can't pick them up until the day, you can't start planning your day until the day.
Yeah.
Whereas on a lot of cruises, you get your things through the night before.
But there's a show in the centre stage called We Are One. There's more comedy. There's karaoke. There's basketball knockout challenge. There's guess the movie song. There's all sorts. They've got a big screen on the pool which shows films, which is a great venue. And you know what? My favourite thing, you get a map. I love a map. Ooh,
You're so
ooh.
easily pleased.
Anyway, time's are ticking, so let's have a look to see what else. Ian saying hit the like button. Yes, please do. If you enjoy our lives, give us a thumbs up, because it always helps our channel grow. Caroline French is asking this, Pauline.
Oh.
If money was no object, what cruise would be the ultimate for you? I know what mine is.
Well, tell them that.
I would like to do a pork gang cruise in French Polynesia. Gagain.
Was that even words you were saying?
Gary's been on it.
A Paul Gauguin.
It's Gauga.
Gauguin.
Gauguin.
Like the painter. I think he is the painter.
I don't know.
He
That's
is.
what I'd like to do. What about you?
Well, I don't want to Gauguin anyway. I don't want to I don't care. I just go with the flow. Carole just tells me what I like. You know, I'm a man. I'm a married man. I just do what I'm told.
Oh, Sweet Nature's just had to. Oh, where has it gone? Addicted Ships. I've lost Sweet Nature's. Have you ever cruised Japan or have plans to?
We have got something in the pipeline, but we
Yeah.
keep putting it off because there's a few ports that we don't want to go to. So don't know.
We
But
booked
yes,
it
we
a
do.
long time ago,
Yeah.
and we originally booked one to go to Hong Kong and China and all around Japan. Now we're thinking, we've been discussing with Dan about moving it to just a totally Japan cruise, but we're looking at doing quite an exciting trip next January through to March, being away for probably sort of nearly 3 months doing Asia, and that might be part of it.
As soon as I know any more about that, I'll let you know.
Jack's here. Lovely to see Jack. Jack always comments on our videos, so thank you, Jack. What's the time difference? We're 4 hours
That's what it's
behind
like.
UK
we
at
always
the moment.
We always get confused because the time on here now is 2 minutes to 4,
Yes.
but the ship time is 2 minutes to 3.
Yeah.
So, like we said earlier in the broadcast, Bob bailed us out because we had the wrong time down for our live. So,
and we'll see Jerry and Jill the weekend. Well, we're looking forward to a cruise with you guys, so that'd be great. There's Sweet Nature. She just had to explain the pineapples thing tomorrow. Oh, now Ian's just started watching blogs now. If you're a lot more knowledgeable about ships like Iona. I've only sailed with Pinot, but I'm tempted by Fred Olsen's. We cruise with Fred Olsen on the Braemar, so we've got a lot of content on that on our YouTube channel and website. But Emma Cruises has just got on the Bullet.
Ballet.
What did I say?
Oh, mate, you just kind of
Ballet.
any old. She was doing a piece to camera last night, and I thought she said, and it was because of the New Amsterdam was next door, and she said, and once we get off this camera, we'll be getting on there. And I said, once we get off what? And the trouble is she says it and she doesn't know. And the only good thing about it is, because obviously I'm always wrong and she's a woman, so she's always right, is she's videoed it. I said, well, you watch it back then if you don't believe me. Once I got off this camera, I'm going on that cruise ship.
Me 42, 44. I'd like to go to New Zealand to UK. Would you do it? Thanks, love you too. I would love to go to New Zealand, but after our Azamara cruise, I found 25 nights on the same ship too much. So if I did that, I would want to do some ship hopping. So, and Marianne is just saying she's just done looking at the pineapples on the door. So there was another few questions because our hour's nearly up. So Brooke's saying that she's a new subscriber. I absolutely love you all and love you 10 out of it. Oh, thank you. I hope you're enjoying your cruise. We've not had much luck out of Carnival, but I hope you have a great time. Yeah, Carnival does split the crowd, but from our experience so far, we've had a good time. Would we cruise with Carnival again? I think yes. Is my gut feeling at that today.
Well, I think it's just because we were already had next week's planned with the Canucks. This was one that we worked in because Dan worked his magic, and it just dropped into place, didn't it?
It did.
It wasn't something that was.
It was Dan's idea. Look, the Carnival celebrations go the week before. That would be a great, experience. So thanks, Dan, because it has been a great experience. I'm glad we've tried Carnival, and I'm sure we would. If you could get a good deal again, then we would.
So it's Matthew Jones's birthday, not just.
Yes.
And nobody's bought him a cruise, and unfortunately, Matthew, that's still going to be the case after we finish on here.
And Ian's just asking best way to Moho Beach. Now it's very easy in St. Martin because as soon as you get off, the cruise port have got it totally sussed. You buy a ticket for a return taxi fare that costs $16 each, so $8 each way, and they give you a band that you wear until you go back to the taxi point, and they bring you back. So it's ever so easy. It's not a problem. And if you want to do a boat taxi, go into not Phillipsburg, around the island. There's it's there.
Yeah.
Everything
it's all
is
really, really well
It
organized.
is. Right, it's gone an hour, so let's just see if we've missed anyone's. Yeah, and I think that's a good point. People are snobby about Carnival despite never cruising with them, in my experience. I think so. I think there is a difference between the new and the old ships, and I think you have to just be selective on what you book. Carnival Celebration has been one of the most beautiful ships we've been on, and how it's been laid out, I think it's fabulous. It's fabulous, yeah.
So we, as anybody who watches our stuff know, we love live entertainment, and you will never tire. And we've seen spectacular, like I said earlier, spectacular individual singers. We've seen bands. We've seen two bands join together, and we have enjoyed so much entertainment. It's been great.
So, and Chrissy's saying thanks for this evening. Thanks for this evening, guys. Well, thank you all for coming. It's gone over now. We're just about to sail away, so we hope we found our live useful, and we would be giving. Obviously, we'll be doing a vlog series, and lots more information will be coming. But don't forget, our episode 6 of Azamara is out tomorrow, so please watch that as we arrive in Australia, which was such a special moment, wasn't it? Yeah. So thanks ever so much, guys. Anything you would want to add, Paulie Morgan?
Nothing at all. I'm going to the bar. Thank you all.
Yes. Bye for now, and we'll catch you soon. We're hoping to go live with the Cruising Canucks next week, so stay tuned, and we'll.
Bye-bye. Go on, press a button. You can do it. Press it. Press it.
Oh, there we go.